I can go back in a minute. So groups. Elements in the same group have very similar properties. Group number tells us how many electrons are in the valence shell. Now, do you remember what valence shell means?
The outer.
Outside, the outermost energy level. For groups, whoopsies. For groups 13 to 18, we use the last digit, though, to tell us. So that's really important. So say elements all in group 16, like oxygen, sulfur, selenium, those all have how many valence electrons in them? So the number 16, you use the last number to designate. So how many do they have? 6. 6 valence electrons. Electrons fill the first orbital before they can go to the second. So the first orbital has to be all full, and then they move up to the second. When the valence level is full, it's referred to as a stable octet. Since there are 8 electrons occupying the orbital, because oct means 8. So there's some groups that are really special that have certain names. Oh, and I'll tell you how I remember now. So groups, they all go down. Groups go down, periods go across. The way I remember it is group. The word group has 5 letters in it, right? Yes? Period, P-E-R-I-O-D. Period has 6 letters in it. Okay? So group, without the S, is a smaller word. Yes? Going down is shorter. So I think the shorter word goes with the shorter side. This is the shorter side compared to this. This is longer than this. So I think the shorter word goes with the shorter side of the table. That's the only, because I always get them mixed up. Always. So I think the shorter word goes with the shorter side of the table. That's how I do it. I don't know. Because without a trick like that, I always get them mixed up, like all the time. I would. Even though I teach it, I always get mixed up. Okay? So there's a couple groups that are special. Group 1, what is that called? Hydrogen with the... Do you know what group 1 is called? Alkali metals. Yeah, group 1 is the alkali metals. And hydrogen's with the alkali metals, but hydrogen is not a metal. But it's just in the same group. They are really reactive. So if you have an alkali metal...
Wait,
Yep.
what's that word said?
Alkali.
No, I mean that stable.
Octet. O-C-T-E-T. Octet, meaning 8. Yeah. So they're super violently reactive. Group 2, do you know what that one's called?
Alkali earth metals.
Good job. You guys are on.
Alkali or alkali?
Alkali, not alkaline. Alkali earth metals. They're very reactive with oxygen, but they're a bit less reactive than the alkali metals. Do you know, okay, find group 17 then on your periodic table. So look at the 17. Starts with fluorine, right? Halogens, yeah. The most reactive of the non-metals, and then group 18 is the noble gases. They're so noble. They're so good, they can't even hang out with anybody else. They only want to be by themselves. So that's why they don't ever bond with anything else. They are so stable, they're so noble. They're too good for any other element. That's how I remember them. So the intertransitional metals, that's these two. These two are called transitional metals. Now, they actually fit into the table. So look at the number, 57, 58. So they actually fit in here, and it would make the table go really, really long though. And this one fits, yeah, they fit right in. So they actually are supposed to be in the table, but it would be really long. Okay? So they just put them down at the bottom so that it's not a really long table. That's the only reason why. So this top one, that's called the, do you know what? Do you know what it is? Hmm?
You say translation.
Lanthanoid. You see it on your sheet there? Is it labeled on your periodic table?
Yeah, it is.
Good one. And then the bottom is the
Actinoid.
actinoid. Right on.